Hey, Washington Commanders fans. If you think you've heard everything about the team's offseason moves, get ready. Today, I'm bringing up a crucial, often overlooked point that could be the difference maker for our team in 2025. While the media focuses on strategic trades, impactful signings, and draft picks, something huge is happening behind the scenes in Washington that hasn't received the attention it deserves. The locker room atmosphere has completely changed thanks to a familiar name, but you might not realize the extent of his influence. Stick with me until the end, because you won't want to miss a single detail of this analysis. And don't forget, in this video we'll cover two pieces of news, detailing today's behind-the-scenes happenings with the Commanders. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and let's cheer for this success together. First, the truth is that since Dan Quinn took the helm, the culture within the Washington Commanders has been completely transformed. The difference is striking. We've gone from an environment marked by distrust and internal conflict, as it was during Ron Rivera's tenure, to a team that displays unity, commitment, and mutual trust in every practice and game. As a fan who's been following for years, it's impossible not to notice this new spirit, with more motivated players and a much stronger sense of collective responsibility. And who's been the key player in this silent transformation? Bobby Wagner, the veteran linebacker who sets a standard of excellence for everyone around him. Wagner knows Dan Quinn's work from their time with the Seattle Seahawks and brings the experience of someone who's been in big games. Off the field, he's become a mentor to younger players, setting an example of preparation, attitude, and leadership, especially for a group that has spent so many seasons lacking this type of role model. He's also building a great relationship with Jaden Daniels, helping the next generation absorb the NFL environment the right way. Renewing Wagner's contract might seem like just another market transaction, but it carries much greater weight. It was essential to maintain the high standard within the group. The team acted quickly to secure the player for another year, with a fair and balanced contract, keeping Wagner motivated without jeopardizing the team's financial health. For $9 million, with a significant portion already guaranteed, Washington secured not only the talent of an all-pro linebacker, but also the survival of something rarer in sports today, a winning culture. It's worth remembering that Wagner, even at 35, continues to perform at a high level. Last year, he had 132 tackles, another Pro Bowl appearance, and another second-team All-Pro selection. While it's impossible to predict how long this production will last, the team's adoption of a year-to-year contract model shows intelligence and prudence, valuing the present while keeping the future open. This flexible approach, combined with his central role in Dan Quinn's system, makes all the difference in the defense's functionality. The most important point is that in 2025, the pressure will be higher, opponents will be even better prepared, and weekly planning will often require quick adjustments. In these moments, a veteran voice like Wagner's is crucial both behind the scenes and on the field. It's no coincidence that his retention was the first domino to fall in the renewals, as it upholds the standard the Commanders need to compete among the best. I'm excited to see how the team will respond to the new challenges. Now, it's time for a deep dive into the new additions to our team for the 2025 season. If you thought last year's rebuilding was incredible, you can bet that this new cycle promises even more excitement, responsibility, and above all, pressure. In this video, I'll reveal why 5 veteran players could turn the NFL upside down and put Washington firmly at the top. Stay with me until the end because, in addition to a detailed analysis of each sector, there's behind-the-scenes footage, fan comments, strategies for you to interact, and suspense to keep you hooked until the very last seconds. And go ahead and subscribe, activate notifications, and comment on which veteran you think will surprise. Your direct participation helps build this community. Let's start with a general assessment of what has changed since the arrival of coach Dan Quinn and general manager Adam Peters. In 2024, the franchise went from obscurity to becoming the league's sensation, unexpectedly reaching the playoffs and presenting a competitive and united roster. There's no denying the pride among the fans, right? But this success comes at a price. Now, the entire NFL sees the Commanders differently. 8 primetime games are already scheduled, 5 of them in primetime, an unprecedented showcase to demonstrate strength and cohesion to millions. The challenge is to translate all this attention into results and maintain the high level of play. One of the biggest turnarounds began behind the scenes. Adam Peters was bold, made significant trades, and filled the roster with determined veterans. Even with a reduced number of draft picks, he managed to keep the core, brought in experienced players, and added depth to strategic positions. The goal is to take advantage of this special window to dream big. The names you'll see here are the backbone of this mission. Starting with the defense, the interior line gained a new protagonist with the departure of veteran Jonathan Allen. Payne, who was already under pressure due to his high contract, now carries the full responsibility of shining as the absolute starter. He showed strength and dominance in 2024, but needs to repeat his Pro Bowl performance from 2022. With Johnny Newton and Javon Kinlaw in the rotation, Payne is under pressure to deliver results. While he has all the physical tools, it's clear that 2025 will be a watershed moment. His performance could be what separates a dominant defense from one that falters at crucial moments. Speaking of responsibility, we can't ignore Laramie Tunsil, the best offensive line reinforcement in recent times since Trent Williams. Peters didn't hold back. He made a strong trade to acquire the left tackle from the Texans, a 5-time Pro Bowler known for his balance of technique and leadership. Tunsil arrives with the mission of protecting Jaden Daniels' blindside and minimizing pressure on the spectacular rookie. He's recognized as one of the league's best pass blockers, but fans also expect a reduction in penalties, something that hampered the offense last year. This is the ultimate test for an athlete who came to be a leader, heading the most important unit Jaden Daniels will have in front of him. If the line is reinforced, the secondary gains even more prominence with Marshawn Lattimore. His arrival in a bold trade was seen as the turning point for the defensive system, but due to a serious hamstring injury, he barely played in the regular season and only returned in the playoffs, demonstrating commitment even without being 100%. General Manager Adam Peters has made it clear that Lattimore is part of the plan for the future, and with a full recovery and more time to assimilate Dan Quinn's scheme, the expectation is that he will return to Pro Bowl form. If Lattimore proves reliable and healthy, it will be like adding another elite reinforcement to the secondary, and nobody can play at their best without a strong secondary, especially in the playoffs. On offense, among all the moves, special attention falls on Brian Robinson. The running back started the last season explosively, but his production dropped when the offensive line lost its rhythm. The hope is that, with the strengthening of the trenches and the arrival of new offensive weapons, Robinson will find his way back to dominating on the ground and alleviate the pressure on Jaden Daniels. 2025 is also the last year of his rookie contract, which further increases the incentive to perform and, perhaps, secure a lucrative renewal or attract attention across the league. The team bet on keeping the group of running backs, and therefore, the fans are watching. Either Robinson takes over the lead, or tough changes could come in the next cycle, and to close out the quintet of veterans who could set the NFL on fire, none other than Deebo Samuel. A wide receiver who, for years, was a nightmare for defenses for the 49ers, now arrives in Washington to be a central piece of the offense alongside Terry McLaurin. Peters managed to snatch him from San Francisco in a bold trade and secured incentives in the contract, fully trusting in Deebo's potential. With Wes Welker, his former coach, leading the receivers, the expectation is that Samuel will rediscover his high level of play. Many doubted the trade, questioning Deebo's current form, but the more attentive fans know, if he plays close to what he did in his best years in California, the Commanders' offense will be among the most feared in the league. It's fascinating to consider how the new culture imposed by Quinn also directly influences the behavior of these veterans. The internal environment is different since the leadership profile and preparation standards changed. The Commanders' locker room is more cohesive, the exchange of experiences between rookies and veterans is more fluid, and players like Bobby Wagner, who renewed for this year, help maintain the standard of collective performance. The emotional stability achieved with Quinn and the support of experienced athletes can be the differential factor when deciding close games or overcoming adversity, even during the long trips and concentrations typical of the NFL. It's important to remember that this renewal is not just about the arrival of talented athletes, but about building an identity. Each veteran brings not only numbers and performance, but also daily examples of focus, resilience, and hard work, something that young players like Jaden Daniels and current rookies need to observe closely. The virtuous cycle of experience, demand, trust, and opportunity can accelerate the evolution of the entire roster and, perhaps, shorten the path to titles even further. Besides the technical challenges, there's always the dimension of the schedule and external expectations. The Commanders' 2025 schedule is one of the most demanding in recent years, with repeated primetime games, clashes against Super Bowl contenders, and decisive games within their own division at the end of the regular season. All this under constant scrutiny from the national media, which increases the pressure and makes it difficult to maintain focus. In these scenarios, the experience of the 5 veterans mentioned could truly be the difference between an ordinary campaign and a legendary journey. None of these players will have an easy path. Opponents analyze every detail, exploit weaknesses, and especially in the playoffs, rely on experience to decide games. Payne's performance, Tunsil's solidity, Lattimore's full recovery, Robinson's return to prominence, and Deebo Samuel's creative duality will define not only the Commanders' success, but could, indeed, shake up the NFL landscape. If each of them reaches their peak, or even surpasses expectations, the entire team will reach another level. Therefore, fans, pay close attention to every game, every sideline reporter, every snippet of practice that leaks on social media. This is the moment to look beyond the numbers, focusing on attitudes, locker room conversations, press conference stances, and above all, daily commitment. Washington has never been closer to a historic turnaround, but it's essential to stay grounded and learn from every cycle that has led other elite teams to the top. So, the big question, will the mixture of experience, talent, and hunger for victory among these 5 veterans be enough to transform Washington into an absolute protagonist in the NFL? Or could the technical challenges and external pressures weigh too heavily and end up undermining the group's rise? Comment here, share, like, and keep following the channel, because together we'll analyze practice by practice, week by week, until the last play of the year.